welcome to our next section. And what you are looking at are great lettuce skeletons. Now, back in the day, you may remember seeing some video that I shot of the great lettuces growing in my backyard. Well, I cut them, put them away, and now we're ready to try something new. Oh, look at those snow geese. Anyway, so we're going to try some fire saw. So we're going to cut the bases of these lettuces into sections. As you can see, it has somewhat of a thick wall. Okay. And we're going to do some fire saw. So I'm going to take that hickory blade and we're going to give it a shot. So I'm going to select one of these to cut up and we're going to go at it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're inside my sunroom / Phire Dojo, and we're by the bandsaw. And here I just cut 2 sections off these 2 great lettuces. As you can see, the walls are fairly thick. So I'm going to further prepare these, get them ready for our fire saw. Be right back. Okay, so what we have here is the lettuce split in 2 halves. Okay, I have 2 holes here for comparison. This is a 3/8 inch, this is a 1/4 inch, and here I have a little bit of jute tinder placed underneath the 1/4 inch. We're going to do the 1/4 inch hole. Okay. That's going to be held here in place with these 4 nails. And our blade is going to be hickory. The width of it is 3/16 of an inch. Okay. So let's get this warmed up. You can see there's nothing in the notch. It's not smoking. This is a really short blade. Have a little bit of glaze that I need to deal with. Alright. Now we're getting some smoke. And there's our coal. So that's great lettuce, hickory blade. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, and welcome to our next section. And we're doing fire saw with, okay, that's upside down, mullein as a base. This is the other half. Okay, as you can see, it's full of pith. All right. I've drilled 3 1/4-inch holes in there and started a groove with my file. We're using a 3/16 with hickory blade. This blade actually is from a maul handle purchased at the hardware store and cut into slices on my table saw. Alright, so let's give it a shot. Now I did not put any tinder underneath. What I'm going to do is leave the pith in there. I left the pith inside as insulation and to hold the ember, since it's not very tall anyway. So I'm guessing that it's going to form a good coal in there, and I'm not going to need the tinder bundle in there. Alright, you can see it's not smoking. There's nothing inside. There we go. Alright, hickory. Now let's see. I guess let's do this one on the end. So we have to get this mated, warmed up, and ignited. Let's have a look. And we have a coal. So hickory on mullein base. And you can see the pith is catching fire. Or I should say coaling, not catch fire. Very good. Mullein base, fire saw. Let's keep going. Alright, and welcome to our next section. And today we're doing pokeweed. So these are some large bases of a pokeweed plant, which was growing in my backyard behind the shed. And it's now February, and it's been outside ever since. I collected it yesterday and let it dry out a little bit. So what we're going to do today is we're going to attempt a fire saw. So I cut this one in half on the bandsaw. I put a 1/4 inch hole in, and we're going to take just a little bit of jute underneath to catch the dust. It's going to be held in place with nails again. Let's secure that down. As you can see, I took the bark off the outside. So we're using hickory blade again. Just prepare that for a second. Okay. And we're going to rough that up a little bit. A round file. Get a little bit of friction. Start a groove, rough that up a little bit, just for luck. Alright, I think we're ready to get started there. As you saw, there's nothing in the notch. It's a 9-inch hickory blade, that's 3/16 of an inch in width. So let's get this mated, warmed up. And there's our coal. Pokeweed base for fire saw, hickory blade. There we go. All right, very nice. It can be done. So, bow drill with pokeweed and fire saw. Very nice. Let's keep going. Okay, so for our next fire hack, we're gonna do giant sunflower. Okay. These are the ends. You can see that they're pithy. I'm taking one section, and what we're doing is fire saw, but we're going to do reverse fire saw. So here, I put some 3/8 inch holes. We're going to do the one with the groove, okay? And we're going to do that on our hickory blade, all right, in the reverse style method. So we have to get this mated, warmed up, and lit. Hopefully try not to break it in the process. Up. Sorry about that. And there we go. There's our sunflower on hickory fire saw. All right, giant sunflower. There we go. Still burning. All right, let's keep going. Okay, welcome to our next section, and today we're doing another bunch of lone spindle types, and this is purple loosestrife, and today we're doing a bojo. Purple loosestrife is a horribly invasive species, and it loves wet areas, and what it'll do is within a few years, if it starts to take root, it can literally take over the whole area. So a lot of institutions are studying this plant now to figure out how it's so invasive and what they can do to keep it from destroying natural ecosystems and getting rid of how it takes over and gets rid of native species, or more native species, I should say. So that's what we're going to be doing now. It's kind of like Ailanthus. It's one of those weed trees where you really, you know, if you're going to pick, if you're going to select woods for fire making, you might as well try and pick the ones that are the most invasive, and that way no one's gonna miss it. So we're doing pine base reload. Nothing's in the notch. We're gonna put that notch sideways. Okay, you can see it's already mated. Taking the bark off the end. The brace end is already greased and marked. Let's have a look. Oops. So we got a good dust pile, but we don't have anything. So let's put all that dust back in there. Keep going. I think I was shaking stuff around a little bit. Have a look. And there is our purple Loosestrife coal. So I'm going to highly recommend you try and use purple loosestrife along with other invasive species for practicing a lot of your craft. So alright, let's keep going. Okay, and welcome to the Epimethei section of the Phyrehacking section. And for our very last one, what you just saw previously was purple loosestrife, right? Except those were of a higher density. You just saw it as a bow drill because it's a fairly good density. And that one is also like mugwort and late flowering thoroughwort, where it's a winter plant. So it's fairly dense for throughout the winter. And so now, at this juncture, it's April of the next year. And I have collected some older purple loosestrife. So these are of a lesser density. They've been sitting around in the weather throughout the winter a lot longer. And so they should be able to be ready for hand drill, much like the mugwort and if you know the story of the mugwort, and also the purple loosestrife. So we're going to do some incense cedar as base. Okay, you can see there's nothing in the notch. I'm going to put a little jute in the notch. And what I have here is what I think is the lowest density one that I have. And it measures out to 5/16 of an inch in diameter. Okay. A lot of these, if you notice, they have a fairly thick wall, these ones. And like rarely you'll come across one that has a pretty good size lumen for the hollow. This one has a pretty good size lumen, so we're cutting down on the density by finding one that's late, very late. This one's almost pretty fragile, and I'm cutting down on surface area for that variable. I got a thinner wall. Okay, as you can see, I scraped the bark off the bottom juncture, and so this is going to be our last fire hack of this section of this video. Okay, we're going to close with that. Because this one actually, you wouldn't know it, but it gave me a lot of trouble. But this time we're going to pull it off. Okay? Alright. There we go. Let's get this one nice and warmed up. It's already made it together somewhat. And I'm just going to float here for as long as I can. Try to get as much spin on it as I can. So we got some dust in the notch. So let's see if we could start to light this up. Oh, that's what I was afraid of. Okay, so I said to myself I was going to close with either I got this or I didn't, because I can't have a success all the time. So you can see what happened. It busted on me. I got a nice pile of dust there, but no coal. Whoops. But it's important to see that I get plenty of fails too. So there's a fail, right? All those successes, the entire section, and we're gonna end surreptitiously with a fail. So, but we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna work on this purple loosestrife till I get it. And what'll probably end up happening is you're gonna see it on the next video. That'll take place after this series, okay? Chances are my next video series is gonna be called Fire Modding and Fire Hacking. Okay, so, and we're ready to move on to our next section, the no notch, and something called in Japanese martial arts the sutemi, which is very important to know and understand because it happens all the time for people learning, especially hand drill in friction firekeeping. Okay, so on to our next section. Let's keep going.